We move to County Waterford for our next story. Butterfly Barn is the title of a recently published book by a local woman. It's the result of a journey she has undertaken to address the pain and anguish that she has experienced in her own life. And we have been to Kilmeaden to hear her story. Well, I suppose firstly I'm a wife and a mother, and that's my priority in life. I work part-time as a tutor in communications and tourism, and I suppose these days now I can actually say, yeah, I'm a writer. So I went on the journey and put this book out in the world, and thankfully people are really connecting with it and enjoying it, and the feedback has been great. We were really fortunate. We had our daughter in 1997, and Aisling, and so I was working away in the travel industry and everything was great and life was good. And then in 2002 I became pregnant, my second pregnancy, with the twin baby boys, and I suppose that was when everything changed for me around that time. I lost my twin baby boys, Michael and Aidan, 12 years ago, and I suppose you just, you know, your life changes, and I just wanted people to understand how it feels when that kind of grief happens to you, and I think sometimes it isn't as acknowledged as other griefs. You know, it was just such a shock, I suppose. I never thought that could happen, and so I had to review everything about what I thought about anything in life. And around that time also, Aisling was diagnosed with a learning difficulty called dyspraxia. So I suppose our lives were in a bit of a flux, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to have to do something that will help her and try to understand my own grief and the feelings that were, you know, happening in with what happened with the babies, you know. So I started to retrain. I went into special needs education and Adlerian psychology, and every time I turned around I was on a different course. I was learning this and learning that, and I remember my sister-in-law jokingly said, I think Karen is on a journey of discovery. And so I suppose I had to just look at things in a different way. I discovered then through an Adlerian psychology course that I had to write a journal, and I began to write, and I just loved it. Firstly, it was about the learning, and then it began to be about everything. I would, I suppose, pour my heart out. And then I thought, imagine if I wrote some stories and gave problems to a character and talk about it in that way, you know, and kind of be freer with it. So I thought, well, you know, why not go off with these characters? So I came up with Grace, Jessie and Sophia, and how their lives intertwined to create this place called Butterfly Barn. One of the characters, Jessie, experiences grief through pregnancy loss, and that is, I wrote that from my own personal experience of grief.
I'd like to welcome you all on this very busy evening to the Book Centre for the launch of Karen Power's new book, Butterfly Barn.
Since the book has been published, I couldn't believe it. Over 300 books sold on the night of the launch. It was unbelievable. When that became manager's choice of the Book Centre in Waterford, I just couldn't believe it.
Well, the launch was, I have to say, it was one of the biggest launches we've had here in the Book Centre. And I'm here quite a number of years now, and it was one of our biggest. We were overwhelmed by the crowd that turned up on the night.
So you're here to listen to Karen and listen to her reading. Then I was invited to libraries to do readings, and I was invited to book clubs. I will be having some more of those into the future, which I'm delighted about. Well, I suppose when The loss of a child is a huge thing, and I found that as I looked at other people and how they grieve, we've all have similar circumstances where we all have, like say, I would have 2 little teddy bears that I put in the Christmas tree every year, and everybody kind of marks it and takes photographs and maybe wants to have handprints and footprints. And thankfully, because when it happened to me 12 years ago, there wasn't such a service as there is today, but there is a service called Féileacáin now, and they're providing memory boxes to every hospital in the country. And I think that's wonderful because it's given people a chance and a place to grieve, and I think people need to do that because it has a huge impact on a person's life,
Féileacáin is the Irish for butterfly, and it's the Irish Stillbirth and Neonatal Death Association of Ireland. So Féileacáin was set up to support anybody affected by stillbirth or neonatal death. Some of the services that Féileacáin provide, we provide memory boxes into all of the hospitals around the country, all the maternity hospitals, Temple Street, Crumlin, and some of the other charities where an infant dies. The feedback from parents is amazing. We get phone calls, messages, cards saying, it's not just a box, it's where the box takes them, where they can make memories as much as they possibly can because they get one chance at this. The reason Féileacáin came on board with Butterfly Barn, and we are putting it on our reading list, is because as a bereaved parent I could identify with Jessie's story, with the isolation, with people crossing the street, with the lack of awareness that, you've had a baby and people, just ignoring it or hoping that it will go away. But again, it's about acknowledging that your baby did come into this world and you do have a child.
The message I would love people to take from this book is hope. And I believe that I've been blessed. I have a beautiful daughter, and now I have a beautiful son, and his name is Owen. And for me, I think I just want people to know that everybody goes through difficulties, and life is sometimes difficult, but through love and through friendship and through family and the bonds of all of that, that all of us can get through any situation. I think we can live in hope.
I couldn't talk, I couldn't feel, but I could dream.
Well, now Butterfly Barn is on the shelves. I have plans. The second part of Butterfly Barn will be coming out in October. But the other thing is that I'm really hoping for is that I wrote a poem. We're now making the poem into a song. And I'm working with my dad. My dad is a musician, Paddy, and he's been singing for years on the scene here in Waterford. So him and a lot of his pals have all gotten together and they're working together on getting putting music to this song. We would love if somebody well known would sing the song, but if not, I think the boys are really on a mission anyway to get this song out. But it is about the babies and about pregnancy loss, but pregnancy loss leaving a feeling of hope and a feeling of light. And I just hope, as I say, that my writing can help into the future with people that maybe want or need it at the time.
Now I can see.
And Karen's book, Butterfly Barn, is available in bookshops, so keep an eye out for it. After the break.